Adyantavasya yanmadhyam idamanyad aham bahi yato vai yasya naitani tat satyam brahma chid bhavan adyantavasya yanmadhyam idamanyad aham bahi yato vyayasya naitani tat satyam brahma chid bhavan adyantavasya yanmadhyam idamanyad aham bahi yato vyayasya naitani tat satyam brahma chid bhavan. Please repeat. Adyantavasya yanmadhyam idamanyad aham bahi yato vyayasya naitani tat satyam brahma chid bhavan.
Adyantavasya yanmadhyam
idamanyad aham bahi
yato vyayasya naitani tat satyam brahma chid bhavan.
Translation. Adi, the beginning. Anto, and the end. Asya, of this manifested cosmos, of this manifested cosmos, or of anything material or visible.
Of this manifested cosmos or anything material or visible.
That which. Madhyam, between the beginning and the end. The sustenance. Idam, this cosmic manifestation. Anyat, anything other than you. Aham, the wrong mental conception. Bahi, outside of you. Yataha, because of. Avyayasya, the inexhaustible. Not. Etani, all these differences. That. Satyam, the absolute truth. Brahma, the supreme. Chid, spiritual. Bhavan, your lordship. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. The manifest, the unmanifest, false ego and the beginning, maintenance and annihilation of this cosmic manifestation, all come from you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because you are the Absolute Truth, the Supreme Absolute Spirit Soul, the Supreme Brahman, such changes as birth, death, and sustenance do not exist in you. Please repeat. The manifest, the unmanifest, false ego, and the beginning. Maintenance and annihilation of this cosmic manifestation. All come from you. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because you are the Absolute Truth,
And because you are the absolute truth,
the supreme absolute spirit soul,
the supreme absolute spirit soul,
the supreme Brahman,
the supreme Brahman,
such changes as birth, death, and sustenance,
such changes as birth,
death,
death,
and sustenance do not exist in you.
do not exist in you.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. According to the Vedic mantra, Yatova imani bhutani jayanti, everything is an emanation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated by the Lord Himself in the Bhagavad Gita 7:4, Bhumirapo nalova ayukam mano buddhirevacha ahankaram iti amne binna prakritirastada. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All together, these 8 comprise my separate material energies. In other words, the ingredients of the cosmic manifestation also consist of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This does not mean, however, that because the ingredients come from Him, He is no longer complete. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyati. Because He is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from Him, He remains the complete balance. Thus the Lord is called Avyaya, inexhaustible. Unless we accept the absolute truth as Achintya Beda Beda, simultaneously one and different, we cannot have a clear concept of the absolute truth. The Lord is the root of everything. Aham Adiri Devanam. He is the original cause of all the Devas, or the demigod. Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. Everything emanates from Him. In all cases, nominative, objective, positive, negative, and so on. Whatever we may conceive of in this entire cosmic manifestation is in fact the Supreme Lord. For Him, there is no such distinction as this is mine and this belongs to someone else, because He is everything. He is therefore called Avyaya, changeless and inexhaustible. Because the Supreme Lord is Avyaya, He is the absolute truth, the fully spiritual Supreme Brahman. End of purport. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manojtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakavalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganatanatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagamata Shri Shakhamyatam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Taptakachana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwamanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Panchakapatatuvyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Mukam karoti vachalam vamvamvete girim Yat kripatamam vande Shri Guru Ditarinam. So, thank you again for this wonderful opportunity. Today we're reading the continuing reading. Our Lord Shiva is addressing Lord Vishnu. We see he's offering very beautiful prayers. Yesterday we spoke a little bit about Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, Prabhu was saying, has a very special position. He is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is not an ordinary Jiva. And he is considered to be the greatest among the Vaishnavas, Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. So it's actually a very elevated position. He is also the guardian of the holy dham. He's the guardian of. So whenever you visit any dham, there's usually Dhameshwar. There's usually the guardian of the dham. In Vrindavan is Gopeshwar Mahadev. He's the guardian of the rasa dance. So if you want to enter the rasa dance, you have to go through him. You have to satisfy him, and he might allow you to enter the rasa dance. So when we're going to Jagannath Puri, there is Bhuvaneshwar. There's a very famous Lingaraj, temple of Lord Shiva, and you're supposed to actually visit him. So he allows you to enter Jagannath Puri. And in Mayapur, there's a beautiful deity of Harihara. He's half white and half black. He's Lord Shiva. So he's also the guardian of Navadvip. And actually, in Mayapur is very special. We have a beautiful self-manifested Lord Shiva in Jagannath Temple. There's the desire tree. There's Lord Shiva. It's the place where that's a beautiful pastime. One day, Lord Shiva was dancing in ecstasy, and he was chanting Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari. So Parvati asked him, "Who is this Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari? You're glorifying, and I have never seen you exhibiting so much ecstasy." So Lord Shiva explained. He said he is the incarnation of Krishna to come in Kali Yuga, and he explained how is he going to look and what is he going to do. And Parvati Devi, she's also Maya Devi. She's the guardian of the prison house of this material world. So she felt left out, because she's saying, nobody likes me. Everybody tries to avoid me. So she was saying, I am never part of your pastimes. Devotees run away from me. So I don't have the opportunity to associate with them. I am always. So she sat down in meditation, and she wanted to please Lord Chaitanya. She wanted to see him. So they built this beautiful temple of Simantini Devi behind Jagannath Mandir. It's built within the compound.
Yes.
Yeah. And Lord Chaitanya appeared, and she took the dust of his feet and she put it on her, on the part of her hair. This is called the Simanta. So from there she's known as Simantini Devi, because she put Lord Chaitanya's dust on her. Where we put the kumkum, it's there. So, and Lord Chaitanya, he told her, he said, actually, you are my external energy. You are the manifestation of my external energy. To me, there's no difference, external energy or internal energy. But he told her, said, you have a very special duty. Whoever comes to you and prays to you, you can give them entrance into Navadvip, into Mayapur town. So she's very special. But next to her, there's Lord Shiva. This is where Lord Shiva resides, in Navadvip. That's his abode. And Lord Shiva there's a beautiful prayer which said, "O hey Kshetrapal Shiv, tumi doyamoy." Oh Lord Shiva, guardian of the Kshetra, of the holy dham. You're very merciful, tumi doyamoy. Krishna bhakti devamoy koriyashodoy. Please give me Krishna bhakti, being pleased with me. So Lord Shiva has this special position that he can give Krishna bhakti. No other demigod can do that. Because it is explained that in order to give something, you have to have it. So Lord Shiva has Krishna bhakti. This is the difference between him and the rest of the demigods, among many other things. But Lord Shiva has this distinction that he has Krishna bhakti. And this is a very particular pastime, because we see that many times Lord Indra is bewildered and he forgets that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he attacks Vrajabhumi. Or we see this with the demigods. There's also this story in the Krishna book with Varuna, who stole Nanda Maharaj, and Krishna had to go and get him. So the demigods, sometimes they say, who is this Krishna. Who does he think he is? We are the demigods. So it was forbidden for any human being to bathe in this kund during the night. And Nanda Maharaj, for some reason, didn't know.
Earlier, I think he went at 2 o'clock or something earlier.
He went at the wrong time, yeah. So he went and Varuna's agents stole him. Of course, Varuna, when he saw, he knew. Said, oh. But he kept, because he said, Krishna then will come to see me. So Varuna, he didn't release Nanda Maharaj. He knew who Nanda Maharaj was, but he wanted to see Lord Krishna. So he kept him, and then he offered very nice prayers and sent Krishna back with his father. But we see in Indra's case, sometimes he forgets, and he is the Govardhan pastime, and there's many pastimes. Lord Indra sometimes. There's also even Lord Brahma, who tried to test Krishna. Said, is he really God, or who does he think he is? I'm going to steal his cows, and we'll see what he does. Oh, and then he came back and he saw Krishna manifested all the cows and all the cowherd boys. And then he realized, oh my God, what have I done? Because there's this beautiful description of Lord Brahma. He saw Krishna. He looked like a bewildered little boy. And he had some yogurt dripping from his hand. He was eating some rice and yogurt, and then it was dripping through his fingers. And he just looked like a helpless little boy wandering around the forest looking for his friends and his cows. And Lord Brahma became bewildered, and he took away the cowherd boys. But we never see this with Lord Shiva. This is very unusual. Lord Shiva is on another platform. He knows who Krishna is. And he understands Krishna's position. So this is a very, very particular pastime. And yes, Krishna is also known as Madan Mohan. He can bewilder anybody. Even lust personified, Madan Mohan. Madan. And in this pastime, he will bewilder Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva will lose control. He will forget who he is, what he is, where he is standing, and he will try to he'll try to hold, embrace Mohini Murti. Yeah. He also forgets that Parvati is standing next to him. Actually, generally people control themselves when their wife is next to them. Usually they're more careful. And it's also described that that's one of the reasons why he thought that he would not be, he had heard that she was extremely beautiful. And he wanted to see this form of Krishna. And somebody warned him. He said, you might become attracted to her. And he said, no, I'm going with Parvati. So we will go together, it will be fine. But he wasn't fine. Anyway, but this is also to describe the extreme beauty of Krishna, that he can exhibit such beauty that anybody can become bewildered. And actually, he himself becomes bewildered by his own beauty. The only person who bewilders Krishna by her beauty is Srimati Radharani. Prabhupada says she's known as Madan Mohan Mohini. She's the only one that can actually bewilder Krishna. So much so that Lord Krishna appears as Lord Chaitanya in order to experience this attraction that Srimati Radharani has towards him, because he cannot understand, like, he is attracted to Srimati Radharani. Why is she so attracted to me? He knows why he is attracted to her. But he wants to know why she is attracted to him. So he takes on her mood, and in order to be able to experience these emotions, Srimati Radharani gives him her complexion, her in a way her form, because no other body can contain so much emotion. It is not suitable. Prabhupada says if you want to travel to other planets, you have to have a suitable body. So if you want to experience Radha Bhav, you have to have a suitable body also. So Srimati Radharani gives that to Krishna, and he can experience it. So Prabhupada in the purport speaks a little bit about Lord Shiva's prayer here. And Lord Shiva is addressing Krishna as the beginning, the middle, and the end of everything. And by the middle, he also says he is the sustenance of everything. So nothing can exist without him. Everything emanates from him, everything is sustained by him, and everything is ultimately annihilated by him. And he also says he's the supreme absolute truth, the supreme absolute truth, the supreme absolute soul, and the supreme Brahman. And Prabhupada explains a little bit about the Brahman. What do we mean by it? There's always this debate between the personalists and the impersonalists as to that the form of Krishna is incomplete because the Brahman form is complete. So Prabhupada explains no, Krishna is complete. Shri Radha Parishishwara ki jai, Nitai Sachi Sutta ki jai, Jagannath Balade Subhadra Devi ki jai, Dayavati Mataji ki jai. So Prabhupada explains a little bit about this Brahman aspect of Krishna. I said Krishna is changeless, inexhaustible. He's the absolute truth. So he's quoting different words that Lord Shiva uses in this prayer. But the point that Prabhupada brings home is that although Krishna keeps expanding and everything is emanating from him, Prabhupada says even the very basic ingredients that constitute this material, this material cosmos, mind, intelligence, false ego, ether, air, fire, water, earth. So these 8 elements, although they are Krishna, they're coming from Krishna, they are Krishna himself, they are his external energy. Krishna is not depleted by it. Krishna is still Krishna, even though all these things come from him and he creates all these things. Sometimes the example of the candle is given, that with one candle you light many candles and each flame is complete and has the potency of giving light, giving heat. And by lighting another candle, you don't take away from the potency of the original candle. That's one. That's part of the analogy. The other part of the analogy, Prabhupada says, is that the original candle is always the original candle. So that Krishna is that original candle, and everything that emanates from him is complete. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Everything is complete and has all the potency. But at the same time, it's not Krishna. This is a mistake that the impersonalists commit. They think that the unmanifest or the energy is Krishna. And it's true, it is. But they think that it is superior to Krishna because it's not contained within a form. Whereas the devotee says, no, Krishna, the form of Krishna is superior to his energy because he can interact and he can experience pleasure and he can give pleasure. Whereas the Brahman is unmanifest. It's part of Krishna, but it's not the complete whole of Krishna. So yeah, this is a very interesting topic that Prabhupada spoke about a lot. He wanted to establish Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as above everything, and he was preaching in a world where monism and impersonalism is rampant. Even so-called personal religions have a very a lot of impersonalism in them. You can see in most of the world's big religions, they don't describe God as a person. They don't God doesn't have a form, though God doesn't interact with the people. God is just above, and He has set a few rules, and that's it. The best they can aspire to is maybe getting to know like the messenger of God, but nobody really even aspires to having a relationship with the Lord Himself. It's like beyond. And they cannot describe His form, they cannot describe His pastimes, they cannot describe what He eats, what He does. This is beyond them. And this is, in a sense, impersonalism, not knowing the personality of God, what He likes, what He does. This is impersonalism. So many people think that actually the prayer of Srila Prabhupada, Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Prachari, Nivishesha Sunyavari, Paschata Deshatari. Paschata Desha. He has come to deliver the Western countries from monism and impersonalism. And some people were saying no, but in Orient, this impersonalist philosophy is very prominent. But actually, it is prominent, but it's not hiding under the name of. Whereas in the West, it is impersonalism, but where it is hidden, and it's pretending to be personal relationship with God, which is not. So this is the difference. So Prabhupada has come to deliver us from this illusion, and from this, Prabhupada called it a sickness. Impersonalism is a sickness, as a disease of the heart. So, and he gave us a wonderful program, and he established deity worship. And he tried to do it in a very grand way, to attract all the senses and to engage all the senses in interacting with Krishna. So of course we cannot interact with Him directly now. Our senses are not purified. But by doing deity worship, we are interacting with Him. We have to cook for Him, we have to offer, we have to dress Him, we have to put Him to sleep. So in a sense, we are interacting with Krishna every day. Prabhupada said there is absolutely no difference between the deity form and Krishna. Of course, we don't see that now. We have to continue our sadhana and follow what Prabhupada gave us. And one day we will see it. Prabhupada said, oh, the deity will talk to you. The deity will correct you, will ask you for things. And that day will come if we continue to do service like Prabhupada said. He said we just have to be very clean, everything has to be extremely clean, and we have to be very punctual. We're struggling in both areas. It's very difficult, but we should try really our best. Prabhupada didn't give many rules or regulations. He said it has to be very clean, we have to be very punctual. He liked that we dress the deities very beautifully every day to attract. And actually, it's a very beautiful meditation for the pujaris. You know, sometimes it takes a few tries. You try a few bangles, you say, oh, it doesn't look good, and you try a few, and you're really engaged in that moment. So then you come out of the altar and you forget everything. You're back in Sarcelles, Paris. But this is Srila Prabhupada's mercy. And this is Srila Prabhupada's grandness. He engaged us in every way possible. He said he's racking his brain to engage us all. How to engage everybody in a way that they can fully be engaged. Then he also established going out and distributing books, going out on Harinam. So not only Pujari work is very meditative and very, you have to be quiet, you have to be attentive, so it's quite meditative. But then he would engage us also more physically. We have to cook, we have to clean, we have to go out on book distribution, we have to meet people, convince them that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ishvara Parama Krishna. We have to convince them, no, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have to convince them to take some books. We have to convince them to give a small donation to it. And by giving that small donation, we are engaging them already in service. because with that little donation they gave, we will use it in printing more books, or in maintaining the worship of the deities, or maintaining the temple. So unknowingly, simply by giving those few coins, they're already starting their devotional service. And if they read that book and they get convinced, then it's other thing. But just by that small exchange, they are starting their devotional service. So this is what we have. This is our heritage. This is what Prabhupada gave us. And every day it will become better and better. We have to hope in this way. Right now we might say, oh my God, we're stuck in Sarcelles in a very small temple. Not so many people come. The morning program is just 3-4 people, if somebody, But it's a beginning. And Prabhupada said, only time is separating us. But we have to keep going. Follow in what he gave us. Try to please him by nicely worshipping the deities. Prabhupada was very pleased. And it's a beautiful story that when Srila Prabhupada went back to Vrindavan, he started calling the names of all the deities he had installed in the world. So in New York we have Radha Govinda, in Dallas we have Kalachandji, in New Vrindavan we have Radha Vrindavan Chandra, and he was like doing that, And so he was very attached to all these deities he installed around the world. Prabhupada, he took personal commitment with these deities. This is a beautiful story of the Juhu temple. Prabhupada, he promised Radha Ras Bihari, he said, you stay here, I will make a beautiful temple for you. And then there was a big war because the landowner, he tried to cheat the devotees. He had cheated some other people before by selling them the land, and then he would never give them the deed. And then the people couldn't claim the land. So he tried to do that with the devotees. But Prabhupada, he had some intuition that he might try to do that. So he told the devotees, immediately install the deities and start worshipping them. Because if he tries to take a temple away in India, it will be very difficult for him to break the temple. So anyway, later on, when in the Lilamrita, we see that they did try to come and break the temple, and some devotees were standing, and the builders were coming and breaking the temple, and they were pulling them away. It was quite dramatic. But when they entered the altar and they were about to touch the deities, they got stopped. They got the paper that they have to immediately stop. And eventually we got the land in Juhu, and Prabhupada built a very beautiful temple in Bombay. So this temple was built by a Surabi Prabhupada disciple. He was from Belgium, passed away a few years ago. He built the Bombay temple, the Vrindavan temple, and he did the designs for the Mayapur temple, but it was not, they took some other design. But Prabhupada was so pleased by his service. He said, as long as the Vrindavan temple and the Bombay temple are standing, the ticket to Goloka is guaranteed. So Surabi, then he took sannyas, and he left his sannyas. He had some difficulties, and for some time he left the association of devotees. He was doing a lot of business in Hong Kong, and he started going back to the temple in Hong Kong and to take prasadam once a week. They had like a lunch service, and he used to come. And one day, me and my husband, we met him. We had just gotten married, and we were in Hong Kong, and we met Surabi Prabhu. So he told us this story. And he said that he was always very worried because he was hearing there were some devotees were losing properties in some places, and the government was taking away the property in other places, and they were running out of money, so they were selling some properties. But he was always saying, oh my God, I hope that the Vrindavan and the Bombay temple are still okay, my ticket. And he was very pleased to see that it was okay. And actually, when we met him, just a few days afterward, we were there with him, he got diagnosed with severe cancer. And he decided to leave everything and go to Vrindavan, and that's what he did. He gave up and stopped his business, left everything with his business partner, and he went to Vrindavan, and he passed away within a few months. 2 months, yeah, he passed away in Vrindavan. So it's amazing to see how even though during some time of his life he was not so actively engaged in Krishna consciousness, he gave up everything when he realized that he had a very short time, and he went to Vrindavan. And how Srila Prabhupada kept, we have to understand that Prabhupada kept his promise. He said, while the Vrindavan temple and the Bombay temple is still standing, you have your ticket. And they're very beautiful temples, very unique temples, and both very dear to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, Vrindavan is my home, Bombay is my office, Mayapur is my place of worship. And why is Mayapur my place of worship? Because Srila Prabhupada, he was worshipping Krishna with the Sankirtan movement. And the Sankirtan movement is born in Mayapur. We could say, Prabhupada, why his place of worship was not Vrindavan, because he was a preacher. He established Lord Chaitanya's movement all over the world, and that was his way of worship, the Sankirtan movement, establishing the Sankirtan movement all over the world. So yeah, this is definitely, and Bombay was his office, because from Bombay, all the actually ISKCON in India is organized as Bombay is the temple, and every other ISKCON in India is a branch of the ISKCON Bombay. So all the temples in India, they have to send all their income tax to Bombay, and then Bombay files it as one. So that's how it's organized. Everything goes through Bombay. So Bombay is Srila Prabhupada's office. We don't go so often to Bombay. Usually devotees go to Vrindavan and Mayapur, sometimes Jagannath Puri. But Bombay was also a very special place. It's also from where Srila Prabhupada left to come to America. He boarded the ship. No, it was in Bombay. In Bombay he met Sumati Murarji, and then he boarded in Kolkata, actually. But Bombay is very important for that reason. Prabhupada started his corporation, in a way, in Bombay. So, back to the verse today. Lord Shiva's prayer. You can see Lord Shiva, he's very aware of who Krishna is. He knows who Krishna is. And Prabhupada makes it a point. He says that it's not enough to know the sweet pastimes of Vrindavan. It's very nice. But if we are premature and we only want to study the pastimes of Vrindavan, there's the danger of becoming a sahaja. So therefore, it is very important to know Krishna's position. And then we can understand his pastimes of Vrindavan. He has his. So we see Lord Shiva is starting like this. He's describing Krishna as the supreme, impersonal, beginning of everything. Lord Shiva knows very well Krishna's position. And it's also said that actually we should offer prayers to Krishna every day. but we don't know how to address Krishna. We don't know how to talk to him. So it is good to select some prayers. We can choose, some devotees choose
Krishna songs.
songs or prayers by Prahlad Maharaj or prayers by Dhruva Maharaj, and here we have beautiful prayers by Kunti Devi. Some devotees like to receive Kunti's prayers. So you can also recite these prayers by Lord Shiva if it's your mood. Some devotees are in the mood like this. They like to see Krishna as the all-powerful personality of Godhead. So they might choose to recite his prayers. Prabhupada, he gave us the Govinda prayers in the morning. This is Lord Brahma's prayer. And we every day, that's why we recite Govindam Adipurusham, because it's the prayer we're offering to Krishna every day. So I'm gonna end here. If anybody wants to add anything, or anybody has any questions, comments, complaints, corrections, suggestions, donations, please.
I have one question. You wanted to ask?
No, after. You can ask.
You say maybe you can correct if I didn't understand properly, that Shiva is only to have bhakti
Among the demigods.
Among the demigods.
Yes.
So my question is, so if only to have bhakti, why Lord Chaitanya came in the Brahma Sampradaya
and not the Rudra Sampradaya?
In the Rudra Sampradaya.
Yes. Yes. Actually, the Lord Shiva, he started the Mayavada philosophy also. Shankaracharya, he
So
managed.
why?
Yes. Actually, it's a service he does to protect Lord Krishna from pretenders and not sincere devotees. So it's known that bhakti is a very rare thing. The only time that bhakti is being distributed freely is Lord Chaitanya's movement. Only Lord Chaitanya did that. Before that, it's like a guarded secret. It's very, very rare, and you have to be very, very sincere and try very hard in order to get it. Therefore, Lord Shiva is actually the only demigod who has it, because the other demigods they live in opulence. They are not pure devotees. They pray to Krishna when they're in difficulty, and then they forget about him and they enjoy in the heavenly planets. But Lord Shiva is not like that. Lord Shiva is always constantly meditating on Krishna. And he speaks to Parvati. He speaks many parts of the Bhagavatam. He preaches. Why Lord Chaitanya didn't appear in the Rudra Sampradaya, I don't know. That's Lord Chaitanya's. He took initiation from the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, and actually it's a very interesting thing, because when he took sannyas, that was his initiation. His spiritual master Ishwara Puri was actually coming from a Mayavadi philosophy. The Lord Chaitanya gave him the mantra first, and then Ishwara Puri gave him the mantra.
I didn't understand.
You didn't understand? In Lord Chaitanya's initiation, he had to accept sannyas from somebody,